I'm joined now by Niall Breslin. Niall, welcome to the programme.
Thank you very much.
Last time I saw you were propping up a scrum, but your life has changed a lot since then, and particularly you've made a career in music. But there's a new album now, if album is the word I still use.
It's still the word, George, you're on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
An album called Simple Things. Now, what's the significance?
It's actually, I've released solo albums myself. This album was, I suppose, for want of a better term, a charity album that was born out of the cycle against suicide, which we did last year, which was just a cycle around Ireland, 14 days, 1,400 kilometres, where we did presentations to schools, students, about just the stigma of mental health we still have in the country. And when I finished the cycle, I suppose I felt there was something I could bring to the equation, would be to produce an album, put an album together with Irish artists around this topic, because I just feel, having done the cycle, that the impact it had was incredible. And I think enough is enough really in this country when it comes to mental health, and we wanted to hit it from every angle, from sporting, from music, from any angle we could go at. And I suppose where my knowledge was in producing albums, so I got 14 Irish artists and we made a record called Simple Things.
All right, so it's not just Niall Breslin?
No, certainly not. No, I'm on
anybody I'd recognise?
No, probably not. But
okay.
No, there's
so I buy the album for my children rather than for myself. Then is that it?
You buy the album because it's a good cause, George. But yes. No, it's the album essentially is. You know, the thing about selling albums nowadays, and it's not even about that anymore. This is not why we made this record. It was an awareness thing we made this for. You know, you look at some of the artists in this record that 15, 16, 17-year-olds may look up to and see as heroes, and they're talking about something that's something potentially these teenagers would have went through, like I did when I was a teenager. And, you know, I didn't have anybody who I could open up to about it in terms of, apart from my family and parents. So I think what we're trying to put together here is to understand that of these 14 artists, from the Coronas to Ryan Sheridan and all these artists that you know full well, they're looked up to and they struggle. And
right, has the music selection, the song selection or music selection on the album Simple Things, have they got a connection with mental health then? The actual songs? Or?
The songs absolutely have, but whether the artists themselves, when I made that call, I mean, I've been quite vocal about my own mental health issues, but whether another artist wants to talk about theirs is entirely their decision.
But they sang songs about mental health.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, they did, but it mightn't have been about their own personal issues.
No, I understand, and it's important you make that point quite clear. You know, because I come from a rock and roll era.
Absolutely.
There weren't too many sort of mental health issues sung by Buddy Holly or whatever, although he had some. What kind of songs today, and I think your point is incredibly well taken about having artists that teenagers would look up to, but what kind of songs are sung nowadays about mental health?
Well, in the charts, none. I mean, obviously, it's not something that people want to speak about, because it's still, to this point in this country, people still look at the ground when they talk about it. And that's what we're trying to change. You know, we find, if you listen to the charts, not that I would, like, the charts is the charts, but this record, what I wanted to get across was the positive stance. You know, the minute you talk about mental health and suicide, people automatically think you're going to talk about something that's very dark and almost, you know, it's sad. And this album is the complete opposite, because the reality is, and in my position, as soon as I started speaking about my issues, there were so many avenues I was able to take. And the ultimate message from this album is it's okay not to feel okay, and it's absolutely okay to ask for help.
But and I'm glad you say that it's okay not to feel okay, and it's okay to ask for help, and particularly young people. It is important to stress, though, that not every person who doesn't feel okay necessarily contemplate suicide. Isn't that
absolutely, because I never contemplated suicide.
Yeah, well, I did, you see. I mean, everybody, like, this is an incredibly multifaceted problem, isn't it?
It's incredibly complex. It's not black and white. And the important issue that I put across when I speak about it is, here's the avenues I did and I used to deal with it. But I am not a psychologist and I'm not a psychiatrist. What I'm here to do is to make it easier for people who might be in a position where they want to speak about it, but they feel they'll be isolated or they'll be judged. I'm putting my hand up and going, well, I'm speaking about it. Nobody's judged me. You know, I haven't felt isolated. And actually, ironically, it's the best thing I ever did was speak about it.
When you talk about avenues, for instance, I'm quite vociferous about over-medication. Mm-hmm. I mean, where people are not feeling okay. Do you have views about medication?
Well, I tried medication, and the one thing that's important, but I suppose I was on anti-anxiety, antidepressant medication, and it wasn't quite doing it for me. I did CBT. I had counselling, I had meditation, I tried it all, but the one thing that seemed to work best for me was physical fitness. And I had to point that out to people when I talked about it, was like, this mightn't work for you, medication might be the perfect fit for you. But I do feel with something like, say, physical fitness is a great complement to other therapies that there would be there.
It's interesting you say that, because of course you're a very good rugby player. Your career was cut short by injury, but you were a very good rugby player. You are not alone, of course, in suggesting that there is a correlation between a high physical fitness and an improvement in your mental health.
Well, the one thing I feel is, like, as I spoke to people about it when they're asking me advice on it, and they say, well, I go to the gym once or twice a week, and my message to that is, that's good, it's a good start, but for me, where I really started getting benefits is when I set myself goals that might have, in another world, scared me, like triathlons, Ironman. I hate swimming, I hate fish, I hate water, I hate being cold. But I decided to take on these challenges.
You did a triathlon, did you?
I've done a few now, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be the exact opposite, of course. I'd love the swim part, but I couldn't run with my rugby players' knees. But the goal thing is important, because I think both of us probably agree, as people who've had issues in this area in different ways, is that goal setting is a tremendous help, because when you achieve whatever that goal might be, however small it is, there's such a sense of achievement, isn't there?
I remember saying, like with the swim, as I said, I had a phobia of water, and probably the most tranquil I felt, as far as I can remember, was during the swim in my first triathlon, when everyone else was punching the heads of each other in the water and swimming over each other. I felt this amazing sense of tranquility, because I realised at that point that I control my mind, and I'm doing something that scared me.
Now, Joanne from Limerick has sent a very complimentary text about you. She wants to congratulate you, but she wants to congratulate Bressie. Like, you'd sort of be Niall to me, you'd be Niall Breslin to me. Who's Bressie then exactly?
I've been called Bressie since I was 3 in school,
really?
So
Okay.
I wasn't able to shake it. I've tried, but Niall Breslin is my birthright name, I suppose, right. And that's what you would have known me from rugby programmes.
Now, Joanne in Limerick, who congratulates you, she loved Song for You. Who did that?
Paul Walsh from Right 7 wrote a song, was one of the guys in the album, and I think it was simple songs like that, and excuse the pun with the simple things, but people, like, there's 14 songs in it, people are getting something out of every, because they were all written with this in mind. I didn't let anything
They're
through.
Specifically written. And who wrote the title then, Simple Things?
A friend of mine called Michael Kavanagh.
Okay.
He was in a band that I used to play with years ago, and he wrote it, and I remember hearing, we were playing in some student bar in front of about 3 or 4 people, and I heard the song and I said, mate, that's stunning. Lyrically was the foundation for the entire album.
Okay. I know how you can perform as a prop forward. I don't know how you perform as a singer. What kind of a singer are you?
I'd be quite a. Never been asked that question before, to be perfectly honest. But I'm a much less aggressive singer as I would have been a rugby player. The lads saying to me, I spent most of my time in the sin bin. But I think sing. I don't know. I wouldn't be a. What type of singer? Oh my God, that's a hard one to answer. I think I'm a I wouldn't think I'd be your thing now, George, to be perfectly honest, but you never know, I might be able to sell you now.
Yeah, well, when I get the album, I mean, there's one track from you, presumably, is there?
There is, yeah. There wasn't going to be, actually. I initially did a track, and that's how hard I was on it. Like, I kind of didn't feel a fit in the album. It was too dark.
Right.
But the other side of the album is, like, mental health is dark. It's tough.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's not bells and whistles.
Where can we buy the album?
You can get it on iTunes, or you can get it in most shops, Golden Discs, HMVs and local shops. I mean, it's doing very, very well already. It's number one on iTunes.
That's Simple Things.
Yeah, Simple
And
Things.
it's number one what?
On iTunes.
Is it really?
People are responding to it, and I think people are getting a lot of comfort from it.
Will you be on top of the pops?
That's gone, George. That's
there you are now.
You
know where I am.
That's 8 years gone now at this stage, I think. And
Has
bring it back, yeah.
You don't remember The Bachelors, no?
I don't know. I'm afraid I don't know, to be honest.
Well, you'll have to YouTube The Bachelors.
I'll have a look into that.
Yeah, Charmaine. Yeah, number one on the UK chart. My thanks to Niall Breslin. We better tell all the rugby fans listening. Were you a tight head or a loose head?
You're saying I was a prop when I was underage, but I ended up being a back row, number 6, number 8, and I spent most of my time.
You're a Sean O'Brien figure, really?
Well, I spent most of my time in the back line, to be perfectly honest. I really,
because you didn't want to get involved up front, you mean?
No, because I just thought I was better than the backs, to be honest.
All right, we have to go. My thanks to Niall Breslin for that.